You ever have one of those nights where nothing seems wrong, but later, when you replay it in your head, you realize everything was? That's what this was. I didn't get jumped. I didn't get threatened. There was no dramatic moment where things suddenly went bad. It just shifted. And by the time I noticed, I was already in it.
No, man, no. We going or what? It's hard. Oh, I know you are. Please don't tell me you gave her more than $10 just to sit there. A lot more, right? $20, $50, what? What? Did you pay her any more than $30 just for that? Just for company? Come on. Hey, I'm not your accountant. You do whatever you want. It's your life. Good for you. How many numbers you got, bro? You're just collecting. What are you gonna do with these fucking numbers, yo? You're just gonna.
It just shifted, and by the time I noticed, I was already in it. This happened in Medellín, right in the middle of Parquee Lleras, the place everyone tells you to check out, and also quietly warns you about in the same sentence. I'd been in the city a few days already, long enough to feel comfortable. Too comfortable, probably. You figure out the basics, quick. Ubers are cheap, people are friendly, drinks are even cheaper, and the nightlife? It's everywhere. Music spilling into the streets, people out at all hours, energy that just doesn't shut off. That night, I went out solo. No plan, no expectations, just moving around, seeing what I ran into. Parquee Lleras is one of those places where you don't need a plan. The streets do the work for you. Every corner, another bar, another club, another reason to stop walking and stay a while. At first, it felt exactly like what it looks like online. Energy, movement, easy conversations. You talk to people without even thinking about it. And that's where it starts. I was standing outside a bar, finishing a drink, when two girls started talking to me. Nothing unusual about that there. They were friendly, spoke good English, asking the usual questions. Where you from? How long you staying? What you think of the city? It felt normal. One of them suggested another spot nearby. Said it was less crowded, better music. And here's the thing. I didn't hesitate. Because why would I? That's what you're supposed to do there. Move around, try different places, meet people. So we walked, just a couple of blocks, still in the same area, still surrounded by people. Nothing isolated, nothing that would set off alarm bells. If anything, it felt like things were getting better. We went into a smaller place, more locals, less polished, louder. I remember ordering a drink. That's one of the last clear moments. Because after that, things didn't go dark. They went blurry. And that's worse. It wasn't like being drunk. I've been drunk plenty of times. You know what that feels like? This was different. My thoughts started slipping, like trying to grab onto something, and it just slides away before you can hold it. I remember focusing on one of them talking and realizing I couldn't follow what she was saying. Not because it was loud, because my brain wasn't keeping up. That was the first moment I thought, something's off. I tried to act normal. That's the instinct, right? Don't overreact. But inside, it felt like something was disconnecting. My body was still there. But my control over it? Fading. We left the bar. I don't remember deciding to leave. I just remember being outside again. Walking, but slower. Heavier. One of them had her arm around me, like she was helping me balance. And to anyone watching, that's exactly what it looked like. Just another tourist who drank too much. That's what makes it so effective. It doesn't look like anything. At some point, I tried to check my phone. Couldn't unlock it. My fingers wouldn't cooperate. And that's when the panic finally broke through. Not full panics, more like a delayed signal. I knew I needed to get away, but the gap between knowing and doing had widened. That's the scariest part. You're still aware enough to understand what's happening, but not enough to stop it. Here's where luck stepped in, because I don't remember. I ended up getting into a cab, but not going with them, not following wherever the night was heading. A cab. Driver later told me I was barely making sense, repeating my hotel name.
What do you want to do?
Over and over, slurring it. He almost didn't take me. That decision, his decision, might have been the difference.
Tengo el club lleno hasta las 5 de la mañana. Vamos hoy en Monterrey. Está lleno el club. You welcome to the party tonight, man. Umbrella Greens. Hasta el club, sí, Umbrella. Hasta el club. Monterrey, Fonda Monterrey. Sí, the full people right now. This is beer for 50,000, man. Free show, free culpa, free cover. You know how much? No money. You check it out, you go buy, no compromise. Opportunity for me, my friends. Check it out. Yeah, the full people, man. Oh my God. Just lady también right now.
Nobody, man.
Sí.
No people.
Good people. Ah, good, no good. You come back.
The same
Sí.
I know, man. Every time.
Come on, check it out.
Every time.
Afrobeat, Afro dance, Jamaican music.
50 pesos for cerveza? You said 50
Wow.
for beer?
One beer, 18. Check it out.
Help me out.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh my
water.
God.
We can have a water.
Oh yeah, free people, man.
Like six-
No compromise.
6 beers.
Sí.
No, man.
Help me out with some
No
beer.
drinking.
For me, you check it out. No compromise. No consumo mínimo.
Sí, tranquilo, yeah. But,
You have a Ron?
One.
Ron. Whiskey, Ron.
Ah, sí. Tequila, whiskey, vodka, fridge.
Shot.
Chop.
How much?
The free chop. One. Dos chops.
What do you think? Two
¿Sí?
shots?
one shot for free.
Sí.
No free, like hookah.
Ah, vodka fridge. No, pero mira, free chop. Free.
I don't remember getting to the room. Don't remember lying down. Just nothing. Until the next day. I woke up late. Head heavy. Body drain. Like I'd run a marathon. In my sleep. First thing I noticed, phone gone, wallet gone, cards already hit. But honestly, that part didn't even register right away, because what stuck with me wasn't what I lost. It was how easily it could have been worse. When I went downstairs, I told the front desk what happened. The guy just nodded, didn't look surprised, didn't ask many questions, just nodded like he'd seen it before. That's when it hit me. This wasn't random. This wasn't some one-off bad night. This was a system. People think they'd catch it. They think there'd be a moment, a red flag, a warning, something obvious. There isn't. That's the whole point. In a place like Parquee Lleras, everything already feels chaotic. So when something actually is wrong, it blends in. And by the time you realize it, you're already past the point where realizing helps. Story number 2. I didn't think anything of it at first. It was my third night in Medellín. Everyone told me, go to Parquee Lleras. That's where the energy is. Music everywhere. Lights flashing. People laughing like nothing bad could ever happen. I was walking alone just past midnight. A girl approached me. She smiled, super friendly, said her name was Sophia. Her English was perfect. That should have been my first clue. She asked where I was from. We talked. It felt normal. Too normal. Then she said, let's go somewhere quieter. We walked just a few blocks. Not far. Still close enough to hear the bass from the clubs. But it started fading. That's when I noticed something. No one else was around, like not a single person. I stopped walking. She turned around and looked at me. The smile was gone. Just blank. And then 2 guys stepped out from the shadows behind me. No sound, no warning. Just suddenly there. One of them said phone, wallet. My heart was beating so loud I couldn't hear anything else. I handed everything over. Then one of them said something I'll never forget. He said, you're lucky she liked you. Liked me? I didn't understand until I looked back at her. She was just standing there, watching, like she didn't even know me, like I was just the next one. They told me to walk, don't look back, so I walked. Slow at first, then faster, then I just ran. When I got back to the main park, the music hit me again, people dancing, laughing, like nothing happened. I went to the police the next day. They didn't seem surprised. One officer just said, you're not the first. I asked about the girl. He just shrugged and said, there are many like her. I never went back to Parquee Lleras after that night. And the weirdest part? I swear I saw her again. The next night, same smile. Talking to someone else. Third story. I'd read the warnings before I went. Every thread said the same thing. Don't trust anyone too fast. Don't go with girls. Don't leave the main strip. I told myself I wasn't that guy. First night in Medellín, I go to Parquee Lleras. It's exactly what people describe, but louder. Neon bleeding into the street. Music stacking on top of music. Reggaeton from one bar, techno from another, some guy playing drums on a bucket like he's summoning something. It feels electric, safe even, like chaos with rules. I'm 2 beers in when they show up, not 1 girl, 2. That should have been clue number 1. They weren't aggressive, no hard sell, just sliding into conversation like they'd known me already. Asking normal questions. Where are you from? How long are you here? What do you do? And here's the thing. They didn't seem fake. That's what gets people. One of them, Camilla, barely touched her phone. No scanning the crowd, no signaling. She laughed at dumb stuff, I said. It felt real enough that my guard dropped without me noticing. We bar hopped for maybe an hour. Nothing weird. They even paid for a round. That's when the script flipped. Camilla leans in and says, "Let's go somewhere quieter. I know a spot." Now, I knew this line. I had literally read this exact sentence online. But in the moment, it didn't feel like a setup. It felt like a continuation. That's how smooth it was. We didn't take a taxi. That's what made it seem safer. We walked, just a few blocks off Lleras. The lights thinned out. The music got quieter. Not gone, just distant, like it was happening in another world. Then we turned one more corner, and everything dropped to zero. No people, no noise, no cars, like the city had been switched off. I remember thinking, this is the part where I leave. But I didn't, because I didn't want to look paranoid. That tiny decision cost me. One of the girls stopped walking, the other stepped a little behind me, and then two guys appeared. I don't know where they came from. It felt like they stepped out of the walls. No shouting, no running, just calm. One of them tapped my shoulder like we were about to have a conversation. Phone. That was it. No anger, no rush. I handed it over. A wallet. Gone too. Then the second guy asked, "Password." That's when it hit me this wasn't just a robbery. This was planned, structured. They walked me through unlocking everything. Banking apps, email, even had me open my ride apps. One of the girls stood there watching like it was boring, not nervous, not scared, just waiting. I kept thinking, this isn't real. But it was. After maybe 5 minutes, which felt like an hour, the first guy handed my phone back. For a second, I thought it was over. Then he said, "You go. Don't turn." I walked. Every step felt loud, like I was doing something wrong just by moving. I didn't run until I heard music again. When I got back to Lleras, it was like walking into a different dimension. Same lights, same people, same laughter. Like the last 10 minutes didn't exist. I checked my phone. Accounts drained. Not everything, but enough. I went to the police the next day. They barely reacted.